Hi, everyone. I'm Steve. I'm here with David Wright, who is a personal trainer at Parkway Athletic Club in Carson City, one of our health clubs. So, we're going to talk about diet and mistakes that people make by trying too hard, maybe. Um, that's what we're going to talk about. If you guys are interested in interviews with personal trainers, doctors, nutritionists, subscribe to the channel. If you're on YouTube, you want to know more about our weight loss program, hit the QR code or the link in the description. That'll take you to a landing page where you can find out more about what we're doing. These are unique, individualized weight loss programs. So thanks for being here, David.
Thanks for having me, Steve.
All right. So what do you mean by asking people, is your diet too healthy?
Yeah, so there's a lot of different information out there online and elsewhere about healthy diets, what they are, how many calories you should eat, all these different things, right? So it's very difficult for people to really get a straight answer as far as what that means. So an example that I have for you, Steve, is and for our viewers is I've had clients, many in fact, that whether it's in the nutrition program or personal training, we go over the standard of, well, what do you eat in a day? What does that look like for you? And people will say, well, I eat relatively healthy. They say, out of 10, I eat, at an 8. And I'm like, oh, that's really good. Tell me what you eat. And sometimes it's, well, I have a banana for breakfast. I have a yogurt, at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and maybe I'll eat a salad for dinner. Now, some people are like, oh, well, that's kind of extreme, right? But it's very common to have, a diet of very, very low calories, because that's the misconception that, though calories in and then calories expended is true, what you don't want to do is like what I just described to you. I don't care if you're a male, female, doesn't matter, would not be enough calories for anyone to sustain healthy diet. And there are many things to a healthy diet besides, just the calories. There's the nutrients that you need, all of those different things, the vitamins and minerals you need to get from your food. So we're not eating enough. We don't get those. Plus, we're not getting enough calories. So that's just a whole kind of landslide of things we're not getting, all under the guise of thinking, well, I can lose weight or stay lean or whatever the goal might be. When in reality, your diet being too healthy. And when I say that, and the whole purpose of the title of this video is, and of this live session is, we think of that type of eating as healthy because that's what we've come to believe: less calories and eating salads and all these things. Salads are great. I'm not picking on salads. But you need more than that for nutrients. You need proteins. You need a lot of other things. So, what I tend to do is, we have a 3D body scanner here that's part of our program. We find out, people's BMR. We'll go through all of those steps in our weight loss program. So we're able to know how many calories you actually should be eating, customize a meal plan to you based on those calories. So when we say, is it too healthy? Are we going too much to the extreme to where you think it's really, really healthy because it's low in calories? When in reality, calories are just one number of many different things that we use and that you should use to figure out what is best for your meals, your health, those kind of things. Because calories, yes, but also what are the nutrients that you're getting? What are the vitamins and minerals that you're getting? Especially, like you and I know, Steve, if you're going to be here, in the gym, any gym or outdoor activities, whatever, you're going to need even more calories to be able to help your body recover and to just really function at a good rate. So it's really important to know what healthy actually means. And it's not just based on, having an extremely low amount of calories, because that can be detrimental.
Yeah, it's not starving yourself. So I did a short video on this, and people might be thinking they're doing really well, and when their calories are low, usually, well, I've noticed that people don't get enough protein. When I'm watching what they eat or they tell me what they're eating, that is a huge mistake, especially if you're losing weight. Because if you lose 1 pound of lean tissue, you lose 1 pound of muscle, which you will do if you're not eating enough protein when you're losing weight. your metabolism is going to be slower tomorrow. 1 pound of muscle and your metabolism will be slower tomorrow. So you have to keep your protein up when that weight is coming down. In my opinion, you got to keep the protein up anyway. And I was just at a Chico State football reunion this last weekend. Well, we're doing this in May. Um, and I see all these guys who are phenomenal athletes, and most of them are still lean and look fit, except for one thing: they got the basketball in their shirt. And that's from eating processed foods and just junk. I'm kind of getting on a rabbit trail here, but if you keep your protein up and you keep your diet solid, you keep it good, you're not going to get that. And I think that it's not, those basketballs and all my buddies' shirts are not coming from eating too much. It's what they're eating.
Absolutely. And, a lot of times, yeah, what they're eating, kind of on that side of it is, a lot of those processed foods, fast foods, whatever it is, and on a lot of occasions too, alcohol gets in the mix as well, having a drink after work or several or whatever, or party on the weekend, whatever the case might be. Bloating is a huge part of that. So, with bloating, there's a lot of things internally that happen, but another part of what it is too is, inflammation of so many different tissues. And so you have inflammation on top of the gases and everything else that we could talk for an hour about, but it's just not a good thing. So even if, to the other part of it, I'm going to eat super duper lean, or, my extreme diet that I talked about just a moment ago, where there's not enough calories, but on the weekend, boy, I did great during this week, so I'm just going to go binge like crazy. So that's the other part of it, where, you really have to find a balance, because yeah, you can eat really, really healthy. And when I talk healthy, I'm talking about, like, for example, how I generally will eat, and, stay within certain macros and calories, because obviously I know for myself what that is. And like for our meal plans, for our customers and clients and members here, I'll know what that is for them as well. But when you don't really have that information, and so you're eating healthy, and then you say, well, I deserve this, food binge, that's because you're not eating, number one, generally speaking, during that whole week that you ate healthy. You're feeling like you're overly restricted. You're feeling like, I'm not getting all these things I want to eat. So on the weekend, that's when I'm going to go eat everything that I wanted to eat. So what do we see then? Yeah, you might have lost some weight because you're literally starving yourself in the case that I gave us. But on the weekend, guess what you just did? I mean, it wasn't healthy during the week anyway, but you just basically reversed everything that you just went through on these high calorie, super processed foods and whatever else you're doing. And part of the reason we do that on, these types of occasions is, we're not eating enough calories, we're not eating enough nutrients. Our body is just all over the place. And so by the time the weekend comes and you want to just like let loose a little bit, you're going to let loose a lot more than that, because your body's just in need of so much things, calories, all these things, because it's starving. And so again, if you want to avoid things like the binge eating, because that does happen, you have to eat, enough calories throughout the week, and then you're less likely to want to go and eat all these, terrible things for you that are in your mind, that you do go and eat on the weekend, because you were good the rest of the week. Be good the whole week, but just eat enough calories so that your body's satisfied and isn't going to have those sugar cravings and saturated, unsaturated fat, all these trans fats, all these things. There are certain fats we need, obviously, and we've made videos about this, but we don't need the ones that I'm talking about,
Right.
on these fast foods. So just, eating like our meal plans show you, very balanced, so you can have good things throughout the week. And when I talk about good, healthy, different kinds of berries, different kinds of foods. I mean, variety is like the best thing ever for diets. So then you don't get kind of bogged down in only having certain foods. Have that, do that 7 days a week. And then after you're doing that, your body's not going to be craving this stuff like it does now. But if you're eating, a salad and a glass of water, that's not going to be enough for you. That's not going to be enough for anyone. So your body's going to crave this. And eventually, like we talked about in another video, like, you're going to lose weight and then it's going to stop. But in this case, it would continuously stop, because as we don't get enough protein, like you said, Steve, you know, even especially if you're in that weight loss phase, protein's, the building block of muscle. So if you don't have that and you're losing weight and all of these other things, well, you're going to start losing muscle. Then your metabolism goes down. And then guess what? You can't get that metabolism to go back up very easily at all. How do we do it? You gain more muscle because it needs more calories. So you just have to be really careful in what you're doing. And it's not hard. It's just, it takes focus to be able to understand it.
Yeah, for sure. And, we need essential fatty acids and we need essential amino acids. Essential fatty acids come from fats, and essential amino acids come from protein. And if you're not getting that proper amount, you're setting yourself up for failure. And when you're starving yourself, salad and water, that's a good one. The salad and water diet, you're setting yourself up for failure. You lose 1 pound of muscle, you lost, you lost some juice off of your metabolism. So, David, if people want to see what you're doing on social media, they want to follow you or reach out to you, how do they do that?
So they can find me on Instagram at @DavidWright_fitness, and also at Wright Fitness Training on Instagram as well for more of the personal training side of things.
Thanks, David. Talk to you next time.
Thanks, Steve.